Hey, I'm NichBoy, and welcome to Pocket's livestream, take 2 of the Beginner's Guide. Everything is working now, friends. We figured it out. And of course, it was the first setting that we had. We just somehow weren't listening to it right. So now everything is fine, and you can join me, NichBoy, as we go through the beginner's journey. Thank you very much for sticking around, those of you that have. And for those of you that didn't stick around and are watching this tomorrow, screw you guys. You're on True Believers anyway. Thank goodness this game is only an hour and a half long. Let's do it. Good times.
We can promote the capture comp right at the start of the stream.
Yeah. We have the capture comp. So...
The link has been shared in the chat. So if you're interested in participating in that and potentially winning a pocket shirt,
my name is Davey Wreden.
jump on there
I wrote
and
the
send
Stanley
us
Parable,
a...
and while that game tells a pretty absurd story,
your
today
response on
I'm
Twitter.
going to tell you about a series of
Hashtag
events
GGP
that happened
shirt.
between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Koda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Koda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Koda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Koda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
I'm excited.
So, it's 2008, Koda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Koda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at DAVEYWREDEN
I wonder if anyone's actually... I'm sure people have tried
gmail.com.
What actually happens?
Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Koda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I'm going to pause quickly now to say that we are running the t-shirt competition. Pete's going to post the link in the chat. He's doing that right now. You take that picture, caption it, and then tweet it to me at NichBoy and to Pete at Pierreth with the hashtag GGPshirt. We pick the best one and we send you a pocket t-shirt. Brilliant. So at NichBoy, at Pierreth, P, it's like Pierre, and then TH. And NichBoy, NichBoy. Hashtag GGP shirt. Link in the chat. In the chat link. Cool. Let's continue. Oh yeah. Yeah.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Koda.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Koda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
It's supposed to be the game dev. Yeah. I wonder if it is actually Davey narrating it. I'm not sure. Or if he hired an actor. Go through here.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room. Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
I love that. Wonder what happens if I go back.
Or if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Oh! It knows! Oh no. No, don't go too far. Don't get lost. You'll never find your way back. Okay, there we go.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives...
It is so much to ask.
Would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Sure.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Koda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Keep the left shoulder on the left wall. It'll get you out of all planar acyclic labyrinths. Wow, I hope that's true. I get lost in so many labyrinths in my day-to-day life. Oh.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Koda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Technically, I'm not floating. It's sinking. I wasn't moving. I'm not going to hold it up on that.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
So cool. So cool. See, this is a video game messing with you, not what Kojima does, which is just trolling you.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Koda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope. It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends.
I actually love that.
Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Okay. You are now entering.
And that's it.
Terrific.
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Koda would put bizarre titles like...
episode,
yep.
We did play through the first 30 minutes of the game.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I have played through the first 30 minutes of the game, which is why I'm less amazed by what's going on right now. I actually think this upcoming level is the last level I played. I think.
I think you played
this
two
one at the start of this game.
I may have played 2 more. Yeah. So
I
after this, I'll stop being really
making
amazed.
these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Like, my theory at the moment is Koda is him. And that's about it. That's really my entire theory. It's not much of a theory.
Mr. Holmes over here.
Slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Koda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I love this. I could not think of this many game ideas. I've got one game idea.
A room that's
and
warm
it's
and nice. And
it's basically Dota and
cool
Hearthstone
ideas
combined.
for games.
It's when you die, you play a quick game of when you die in Dota, you play a quick game of Hearthstone. Then you keep playing Dota. That's my game.
Koda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Okay. I think this is the last puzzle I did.
Well, this is new for Koda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
I do know how to solve it, so I'm just gonna solve it really quickly. Shut that, and go in here. And then there's another lever.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Okay.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Very cool.
How about that?
Let's
There was
go
more
at the
to it
edge.
than we had any way of
Okay.
knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I am now exiting.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Koda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Okay, here we go. This is where I got up to the last time. So I've seen none of the game from here on. I don't know. I've seen some people in the chat saying that the voice acting isn't great. I actually think the voice acting is good because it sounds like a developer talking about their own game. Like he sounds like he's reading something that's written, because that's probably what a developer would do when he's talking over like stuff that he's put together. I think the voice acting is actually really appropriate. It's not as flashy as the Stanley Parable, but I do think it's still solid. Okay. Wow.
Let's talk about video game development.
Really make me realize how dirty my screen is.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Koda is using an engine called Source.
Hey.
Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Koda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Whoa.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Koda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Can you go down there a second? I feel like no? Yeah? Haven't missed anything? Okay. Trippy! Can I fall here? Oh. Yes, I can! What is happening? Can I get the thing? I can't. It's in like a box. I want it. Even in non-creepy games, I get creeped out. Whoa.
This prison, funny enough, in Koda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Mr. Marvelous has a link for you.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, cool.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
I love how this started with the house. Keep seeing these dots around as well. Don't seem to do anything.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Koda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
I wonder how I would feel about this game if it didn't have the voiceover. Like if it was just me finding out, you know, all this information for myself. Like in the world of Davey Wreden, he's saying that these games are worthy of playing or interesting to look at as part of a package of this, I assume, fictional developer. But for me, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would appreciate these games if it didn't have the voiceover there. Maybe I'm not sophisticated enough. Oh.
Here, Koda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. Interesting. I'm gonna say stamped with whiteness. Did you have to get through a puzzle with doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having any puzzle. I'd prefer not to tell you after all we've just met. Yeah, sure. There's no reason why you shouldn't know that. Oh, no. Oh, do I want to tell them that? They're just like weird boxes. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Do I lie? Am I a liar? I'm gonna say someone else let me in.
There have been some great entries, by the way, into the caption cards.
Excellent. Oh, now I feel bad. Now I feel bad because I didn't let them out. I'm sorry, box guys. Oh, what? Sure. Do you want to know how to solve it? Space between the doors. Oh, the black space between the puzzle doors. Right.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
I might just try it. What if I can turn the music down a little bit? Nope.
I found the leveling while I was playing through the game was actually a little bit off. His narration is underneath.
It's quiet, yeah. Like I'm in high school.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why,
Davey
but
knows.
for some reason, Koda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work as well. His games are just gonna become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Good suggestion. I will turn on captions, actually. I think that helps everybody. Cool. Oh, cool. Can I leave a note?
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Koda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way,
I just don't believe you.
They convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Oh, John, Jacob, Joelheimer, Schmidt, or whatever.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Koda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Koda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
I can't read all of those, but I wonder if there is something. He said there wasn't, but I'm sure he's lying. There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen to that guy. A free t-shirt?
That's too meta.
That is really weird. That is so weird. Makes game includes door, cannot open door, thanks. Oh, wow. I love the fact that he said that all the notes were like the idea is that people online leave these notes, but obviously Koda wrote them all. I'm like, sorry, and I go, oh wow, that's a lot of work for Koda to write all those notes. Good thing he's fake. And then I'm like, wait, Davey wrote all these notes. Like, he actually did write all these notes. I wonder if I can jump off the edge. No. Okay, going down. I tried to jump. No jumpy. The notes make different noises. There's totally something here about the fact that you start off by reading all of them and then you just start running past them. Because it is too much work to actually socialize.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Koda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Koda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
It does. There's blue dots. I like that they're stuck.
And because there's this dark area between the doors,
oh, wow.
a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Only one person made it through. Is it Davey? No, there's whispering. Oh, there's whispering, Shayun. How do you leave notes? Whoa.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Wow, this is so weird. Like, it's good. I just feel like it's gonna end in some sort of murder-suicide with Koda and Davey. I'm frightened. Where are the monkeys? Okay, there's something floating there. There's like a well. Got a light. Oh. There we go. Sorry, I feel like talking too much just breaks the ambience. So I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. I'm in the well!
See, like, this is it. The whole game.
See?
And there's
When I
nothing
go,
that's
"I'm in the
particularly
well!"
interesting about it. You just
Not really
walk to the
arty.
end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Koda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Well, furniture ought to go in the center of the room. Oh no! Put a giant hole in the ground. It's not a giant hole. 10 stoves. It's not 10 stoves either. A full skylight. I picked 3 each time. How weird! I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Nope.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
What?
She looks
Yeah.
utter confusion.
Click on this table. Oh, there's those dots again. Photo frame and turn it slightly. Turn off the lamp. Someone else, please remember this. Now, the left side sofa, move it over a little bit. Finally, touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Okay. What was the first thing? I walk over, I touch the coffee table, readjust the picture, I go over and I turn off the light and turn it back on. I touch the couch, I touch the shelves. Okay. Okay, so.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to
Oh, Koda, you dick!
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Koda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons.
It has to be about the Stanley Parable,
This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
It's Stanley Parable. Just start up Stanley Parable.
Whoa, what just disconnected?
Oh, no, it just blinked out for a second.
Yeah, no. The,
Oh, weird. Oh, weird. I thought it was the game playing, like, tripping out on me for a second. B-Mac, I am feeling unnerved too. And then, I reckon this is still part of the game. I reckon what is happening right now is still part of the game. So go add new source, probably.
No, it definitely is.
Or it should pop up. Wow, so trippy. What a twist. God, how shit is today's stream? Like, tech difficulties, Jesus. If this is part of the game, then that also means I'm part of the game. And I don't think I could cope with that amount of twist. Digger says this reminds me of the time I was listening to Daft Punk and my noise-cancelling headphones started cutting out randomly and I thought it was intentional. Oh, Pete. I think you fixed it. It definitely refreshed it here. And...
We're back.
we are back! Brilliant! What'd you do?
Oh no. What have I done now?
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Just hold it for a sec, because I'm about to destroy it again, I think.
Go.
Okay.
All good?
We are all good.
Alright, this is truly the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 of live streams. Okay. I'm so emotionally invested right now. And I can't get in the phone. Hey, it's me. I'm you after you escape the prison. What? You were trapped in
It's
this
a
prison too.
conversation. And so this is what Koda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Koda talking to himself.
I was in the furniture maze, that's where I am right now. I'm so glad to know I get out eventually. What's it like to escape? I'm forgetting what being in the prison was like. It's strange, but in a way I kind of miss being in the prison. I miss being in the prison, now I'm just stuck in a phone booth. Why, was there anything about it you felt good about? Being here sucks. It was comfortable. That good though, it's comfortable, but it's inhuman. I couldn't live this way. You don't need to, you just need to be patient. Having limits is way more important than you probably realize right now. You'll see what I'm talking about when you've been there for a while longer. You'll see what I'm talking about. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? Wait, what? If you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? Well, I didn't get a call. Yeah, I'm the first person to call back. Yeah, but I should have gotten a phone call. And you can tell me how to get out. Everyone wants to know how to escape these prisons. Just talk with me for a bit? Just talk to me. Oh, wow.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
But they're not. Because I never got that phone call, so I'm lying.
So what would it look like if Koda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Oh, wow. There's so much more
To me,
events
this
than everything
environment
else.
is meant to represent Koda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Ugh.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Don't worry about me. A place this nice, I'll be glad to stay here all night. Lousy homes make home loners. Are we cleaning this whole place? Are we cleaning this whole place? Oh. Okay. Run to the bedroom and make the bed. Okay. Rug's pretty. Dodge. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? How'd you end up doing this job? It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. Sure, let's be judgmental. Pillows on this couch. What am I doing? Make it especially cheesy. Huh! No! Wow, okay, so at what point does this end? Like, just cleaning up this house? Oh, wait. Can I just walk out the door? Oh, are you kidding?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Koda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Can I get out of here? Do I need to keep just doing this guy's chores? No. No. Catch that bed unmake itself.
I'm glad he found some peace. But, of course, it can't last.
Whoa.
The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Chloe Sturgis says Nick's reaction to this level is very different than mine was. Chloe, what was your reaction? Did you find it cathartic?
I did.
You did?
Yeah. It was very peaceful after all the other stuff that I've been through. And just the dialogue you have with that clean guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just found it really interesting, kind of.
That's so
relaxing.
interesting, because I found the rest of the game relaxing. And this was not intense. That was too intense for me. Because it was... The rest of the game was pushing forward and doing something. And that was, you're just in this loop where you just keep doing the same thing. And I'm aware that the conversation I'm having with this thing... I'm not having a conversation. I'm just talking to something that is being deliberately obtuse. Whereas the rest of the game I found... not... I don't mean it's a criticism, because it's like, I know what it's doing, but it's like, it's funny, to me, I felt that's the most stressed out I've been in the whole game. Because I felt... I didn't know when it would end me doing chores. Because I'm a child. And that's what I'm worried about. Christopher, I have earphones in. I didn't want the feedback, because the microphone's right there. I didn't want the feedback from the game just being picked up on your audio. I did it for you, Christopher.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Oh, something's terrible is going to happen to Koda.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Oh. Oh, wow.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
What?
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society. Kids should not be allowed to follow their dreams. happens if I take these dark options? Oh, wow. What happens? I'm gonna take the grayed out options. Wow. You want to do ecstasy? Holy shit, you guys, something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out. Yeah.
I'm sorry, where'd you get the ecstasy thing from?
It was one of the options.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was do the easiest.
No, the grayed out option was, do you guys want to do some ecstasy after this?
I didn't see that.
Everyone run.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Interesting.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Koda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Oh, all the things are here. Table. Thingy. Oh, there's no lamp. Oh, wow. Okay. Professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello. I'm super scared right now. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent people nearby. What are some of the sacrifices you've had to make? That's a conversation starter. They're all personal. Am I gonna watch how you did it? Oof.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Koda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success,
Wow.
the answer for Koda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Koda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Koda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Oh, great. My MacBook Air down. Oh, it's out there.
Where'd you leave it?
At the table with the rock band guys, the Guitar Hero guys. Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Really?
They're making TV outside.
It's such a porn television.
They have their phone.
SS Whisper. Help, I'm blind. What's me? Me. Oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I didn't actually look up. It's a giant door. Oh, what? Help,
You
I'm
should
blind.
probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Just to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these.
Like I said,
I'm
I
out of
was getting
ideas.
concerned. First off, he's
Wow,
never been this
wow.
explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Koda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Oh, wow.
People are asking if you're Koda, because you got that right first time.
No, I just have artist pain and loneliness. I think most people in the chat could relate to something that they're saying. What?
If the last game featured Koda talking explicitly about his creative
Yeah,
frustrations,
you're telling me.
this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from
Door.
my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
You have to say your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Right. But it wasn't true.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was
Oh,
the
wow.
worst thing for me.
It's like the person on the phone.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
This person?
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Koda takes another 7
Oh,
months.
I
and
don't know
comes
if
up
I
with
could
a new
take
game.
more of Koda's games. My soul is breaking. You're not gonna let me flip that switch, are you, you prick? Oh wow, the machine. I intend to be quick, I intend to be quiet, I intend to be brutal. Let's just be quick. Let's be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing you should know about the machine, it calls itself Koda.
You need to fix your fringe. You're looking a bit
Mad fringe.
early noughties emo at the moment. There it
I love how at a really emotional moment Pete went, "You need to fix your French."
I don't want you coming to me later and being like, "Hey, why did you tell me about my hand?"
That's very true. Wow.
And of course, it's the machine.
I have so many thoughts about this game already. You stopped. You stopped feeding us. There's people out there, you can imagine what pain you put them through. It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How can we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? So here's what needs to happen. You need to go out and apologize to them. You have to admit to the people you've allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. Let's go alone, because the machine is obviously your game-making brain. Apologize. I've seen the thing you feared. Wow, intense. My followers. Let's just go my friends. Let's not presume. It falls on me to deliver bad news. The machine refuses to admit it deliberately hurt us. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Follow me, we will destroy everything the machine has created. Ooh. Let's destroy the machine. Let's make it really pathosy. Oh, you machine. Okay, the lights are gonna turn on, don't be scared. What? Oh, wow. Do I have unending bullets now? Now we do. Koda, I'll make sure your work dies here. Koda, I'll make sure you are known forever. Oh, wow. Known forever, I guess?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Whoa.
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Koda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Oh, I'm shooting all of his stuff. Oh, I need to destroy everything. But you work so hard on it. Oh no.
So I started showing Koda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
I've changed my mind. I don't want to shoot the machine anymore. I can't put it down. Alright, how long do I wait to see if the game will let me put it down before I realize it won't work and I just shoot it instead?
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need. To be
It's
told
not-
that my work is good.
It's not
That
what
I
you
am
should do
good.
to other people.
When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I
That's
did
not how
something.
everybody works, man.
I really felt like I'd done something good. Like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Koda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Koda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Koda ever made. So let's take a look. And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Koda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Oh, wow.
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's
Oh,
this
what?
awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze. And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
I don't know. I reckon it's saying more than
The
the house
only way
cleaning.
past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Koda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
15161. 617.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Koda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
I don't know, I really distrust Davey now.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Oh, this is gonna end so badly.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
You showed his games to everyone when he didn't want you to. Thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me
I'm
anymore.
the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
You've so infected my
And
personal space
the
that it's
people who
possible that
played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Some people would like you to read those out loud.
Sorry, of course. You've so infected my personal space that it's possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere hidden between games. If there was an answer, a meaning, would it make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that was not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe? Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lamp posts to them?
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
When I am around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything.
Oh, what?
And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Destroyed from the shootout.
Yeah, I know.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution.
Wow.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. if I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm
Oh, wow.
just gonna... Okay.
Oh, I don't like where this is heading.
Turn back. Turn back from this cave.
I have a couple of questions for you
Let
before we
me
get
prove that
Yeah.
I'm brave.
How are you feeling?
Let me keep
I feel really weird. I feel really like. Do you want to come here?
No, just go.
cave goes for
Wow. Yeah, I just feel really.
miles.
I don't think sad is the right word.
And you're so tired. But I know that you're
I just feel heavy. Yeah. I feel yeah, like really impacted. And I don't think it's over yet, according to people on the stream. So we'll keep it going. And shout out to Chimera42 who says, press F to pay respects. Yeah, it's just like no, it is over. It is over?
I believe so.
Okay.
That's where I got to.
Yeah, I just feel like really impacted. How do you feel?
Yeah,
How did you feel?
It hit me the same way just then watching you play it as
Yeah.
when I played it myself. It's just so affecting because for me, it's because you followed Davey or the narrator, whoever the character of Davey is in this instance,
Yeah.
from such a place of authority.
Yeah, I mean it's that unreliable narrator stuff where like you expect him at the beginning. It sets out that he is someone who you trust and is taking you through this world, and then you realize that he's the
Because he's holding your hand the whole time.
he's the
And-
reason for your sadness.
And suddenly it turns around and he's effectively the broken one
Yeah.
in the story, and it's just such a flip. And I think he did it so well. I'm pretty sure that is Davey Wreden.
Yep.
There's just such a truth to it.
Well, that's the thing, right?
And that was my next question to you is, like, how much of that story do you think is true, and does it matter? If it is true.
So I don't like I need to like go and think about it for ages because I don't know what it's about. I know thematically what it's about, but like there were points throughout that where I thought like, is this about his experience making a game with publishers? Because like when it was the parts of like you're putting lamps in things, not everything needs answers. Like, is it this thing of like people telling you that you need to add this stuff to this art that you're making, and then it was like, is it his relationship with himself? Like I need to go back and sort of really think about it. But the
I'll just make you bigger because people don't. They want to see a bit more of you.
might turn down the game a bit.
I've already done it.
Oh, you already have. Cool.
Yeah.
The what was your question? How much
truth
truth?
do you think there is to that?
I feel like, regardless of how much it was true about video games and about his process as like a developer, or whether or not he has someone who he's worked with as a developer that has had the same sort of situation, that's like the part where the game got impactful was when you realized that he was showing this stuff off. Because it flipped for me. For 80% of the game, I went, okay, this is really interesting, but at the same time, I'm worried that this is going to be a game about being misunderstood. That's what it seemed like. And I was worried that because in my head I was in my head the whole time going, this is a game designed by someone to be deliberately like abstract, and then he's narrating on top of it, so he's telling me what I should be thinking about his abstract game. But then that's not really abstract if you've concocted this to be deliberately abstract, but then also you have the commentary. So it's not clever. Like it can be interesting, but it's not really reflective. But I was still enjoying it, but when it then flips and you realize that the reason that he's been showing off the games to people and that's what broke the friendship, that stops being about games. That just becomes about people. That becomes about pretty much the fact that like we all think we know what's better for other people, and that affects me insanely because that has been me my entire life, like thinking that I know what's best for other people, and like that has had that's had like serious consequences on things in my life that I think I know what other people should be doing and that I can look after them by helping them with that. And so so for that to be the end of the game, that up until that point I thought was a sort of self-reflexive look at game development, because I'd also seen a bunch of people say that like this is a game that will particularly impact you if you're a game developer, and I'm sure it would, but like as a human being, that's incredibly not only affecting, but like that's a relatively rare insight for you to have about yourself. Most people don't understand that that's what they're doing in their lives. So yeah, like it's almost great that the whole thing was about a video game, because it's the knife is hidden underneath the layer of the video game stuff. The whole time you're sitting there learning about game development and looking at like different ways of interacting with a video game, and instead at the end it's just like a piercing knife stabs through to the how you fail as a human being, like, and your own flaws as a person, not anything to do with video games. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine because it feels too real to just be something that he could understand the symptoms of and not be feeling himself and display it in such a way that has so much impact.
Yeah.
To me, like, he's been through that himself personally.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for him for being able to identify it and portray it in such a way that translates to everyone, you know?
Yeah, like it's exactly like it's not only, it's one of those things where you go, yeah, you kind of have to be able to as eloquently.
It's not
like
it's not only the
convey
courage to articulate it; it's the ability.
It's the ability, yeah, to be able to elegantly portray that. You need to actually know. You need to have lived through that yourself. It's like, you know, writing a love song without having a broken heart or something. Like, you go, yeah, you can write down the words, but you're never really going to capture sadness unless you've actually been sad. Yeah.
Alright, what I'm going to do is share the Mental As landing page for the ABC, because it just so happens that it is the ABC Mental As week. So there's a lot of information there. Like, if anyone on the stream, you know, just needs to chat to someone, there's also links to donating. There's Lifeline links, there's Kids Helpline links, and a bunch of ABC content that's been made specifically for this week to do with mental health. So I'll share that in the stream.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys? I kept Thomas Stapleton says, "Is Koda real though?" I've lost sleep over this. I don't think so. I don't think Koda is real. I would say. I would say it's about a relationship that, and then he's put it in the language of video games because it's more accessible. I would say like he's lost a relationship because he was doing things that made thinking that he knew what he was supposed that what was better for the other person. That's what I would say, because I think that you can get that worked up about, you know, work and art and that sort of stuff, but that's a relationship thing. That's yeah. So I think Koda is probably a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, cool. Oh, amazing. Okay, wow. I so did not expect that. Thank you, Petey.
Yeah, buddy. Good job.
Yeah, thank you very much everyone for hanging out. I was watching, I kept looking at the stream throughout and going like, oh, I should interact and read and that sort of thing. And then every time I looked down, it was just someone going like, oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh no, what's happening? I was like, no, I can't interact with anybody right now. I have nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, crap. Okay, so
On to
what do
lighter things.
Onto light thing captioning
We have a shirt to give away.
bullshit faces that I've pulled in today's episode.
Now, I grabbed the 6 that I said I would grab 5,
Yeah,
but there
there
were
was-
6 that I really enjoyed for different reasons.
Yep.
I'll get you to go through them.
Yep.
You can turn and face the camera because I can point the camera at that.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll have to make a decision.
Okay, cool.
You're going to have to make the final call.
All right. I hope you're all still here. Oh, we've got your Twitter account, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. Can I unplug this?
Yes.
Just so I can easily turn. Oh, I just don't know how the Surface works. No, and how do I turn brightness back up? Doesn't matter.
I can do it.
P can do it. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. All right, number 1.
And so... Well... Yeah, it's just
1,
the
2, 3, 4,
text.
5,
Yeah,
6.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Number 1 from. Do I say? Yeah.
Yeah.
From Lardy Kev, who, Kev, you sent in a dancing video, I believe, when we asked for dancing videos. A NichBoy is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to, which I'm very impressed by because he also did some funny shit with fonts. So that's fun. Number 1, Ben Argyle's in the chat. Not going to show a Ben Argyle picture, are we? Can't have 2 t-shirts. Well done, Lardy Kev. Number 2, from William, a Lost Warrior. Also someone who sent in a dancing video. Really, Pete? I have to milk you again? Oh, that one's a good one. That is the face I would make. Except, probably not enough smiling and erection to go with that caption.
I'll just turn the brightness down, actually, because I'm having to jump a lot between your
cool.
face and it. Cool.
Number 3 from Daniel Solaris. When your dampness breaks the audio, hashtag, what is it? NichBoy things?
Just NichBoy thing.
Just NichBoy things. That's nice. That is the face I would pull. That is the face I would pull. Number 4. From Commander Red Junks, famous dancer in our dance-off. Tiny font. I'd nearly deduct points for that, but spacebar, stop listening. Not everything is about you. Which I love. For those of you who don't know, spacebar is what our Xbox thinks it's called. I'm surprised spacebar hasn't turned on yet.
I think I unplugged it.
Good. Number 5. Mackenzie Scrine? Z-Screen? Can't remember if you
Also
sent in
danced.
a... Also danced? Yeah, also a dancer. What's NichBoy thinking about? More like, whom? Jolene! Which I love. And finally... So is the 6th one the one worthy of 6ness?
No.
No, it was just in the... Yeah,
chronological
cool.
order, I closed
Because I
it.
didn't want to give Charlie Lowe too much pressure. I don't always play Elder Scrolls Online, but when I do, I don't.
With the douchebag cap as well.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Hey, Travis T. James. Wow. Okay, these are all really good. Also, I love the fact that 1, 2, 3, 5 of them are in jokes.
Yeah.
5 of the there's a Jolene, a dampness, spacebar, Elder Scrolls, and me having to milk you. Okay, this is tough. This is tough. Okay. How do I do this? I think I've narrowed it down to how many? Let me just look at them again. NichBoy's never late. He ignores the early arrives precisely when he means to. Really, Pete, I have to milk you again. I do like that one. When your dampness breaks the audio, just Nick things. Just NichBoy things. Spacebar, stop listening. Not everything is about you. I'm thinking about Jolene, and I don't always play Elder Scrolls Online, but when I do, I don't. I think I've narrowed it down to... Okay, the final 2 are Commander Red Junks and Charlie Lowe. So the final 2 are Spacebar, stop listening, and I don't always play Elder Scrolls Online, but when I do, I don't. And I think the winner has to be... I don't always play Elder Scrolls Online, but when I do, I don't. So well done, Charlie Lowe. Very impressive, everybody. Thank you so much.
We got a heat as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I
So
don't know
thank
how
you
to
so
use
much
your
for doing-
surface.
Yeah, you did it wrong.
I did it totally wrong.
No, that's alright. You did it right.
Oh no, I did it fine. That was great. Oh, Jack Wolf, I'm so sorry. That was great. Thank you very much. How many did we actually get?
I
I'm
couldn't
just-
tell you an exact
I'm
number,
gonna
but it
check
must have been
my-
It must have been about 40.
Well, I'm checking my... Oh, no way.
What?
I have 100 comments.
Nice.
Guys, thank you so much. So, who was it?
Charlie Lowe.
Charlie Lowe. Charlie, are you here? Charlie, say hello. Yay, congrats, man. Congrats, Charlie. I've yet to see Charlie's name actually say something. Bonus price for milk. I will
Charlie
look...
joins the ranks, better run.
Yeah, Charlie, I mean, obviously, like, let it be known that you are now going to be hunted. You're the new, Ben Argyle. Ben Argyle. He's last week's news. Charlie, what's his last name?
Charlie Lowe.
What's his address? Charlie Lowe. They're coming for you, buddy. I don't know if Charlie's a boy or a girl. We also need to... Pete will contact you for your address, Charlie. And we will get a shirt out to you. Toot sweet. He will get you sizes and everything. So thank you very much. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sitting here watching me play this game. I know we had a rough start with all the technical issues. Then we had a rough end where my entire life flashed before my eyes and I basically crumbled inside. But that was amazing. That's one of the best gaming experiences I've had. That was really special. And I'm really glad that all of you guys were here to share the specialness with me. We will be doing this again next week, though hopefully with a game that doesn't kind of tear me apart until
Yeah.
I'm nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll look at like Transformers Devastation or some bullshit. But thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out. Follow me on Twitter at NichBoy. Follow Pete. Pierreth is Pierre TH. Good games. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. All that self-promotional bullshit.
Watch today's episode of Pocket.
Watch today's episode of Pocket, which is on...
YouTube. And I've...
I meant the topic, which
Oh,
was
right.
Skyrim.
We played Skyrim.
We played a Skyrim mod, made by an Aussie modder. So that was exciting. I'm just a husk of a man at the moment, so I'm gonna say goodbye now before I actually cry, and then we can tomorrow I'll just be that sort of same happy-go-lucky, shouty person who just talks about milk and Pete's nipples, which is honestly
That
what I
is
talk
actually
about
what
a
I meant.
lot in tomorrow's episode, which is an Ask Pocket. Thanks very much for hanging out, everybody. Have a good night. I will see you tomorrow. Pete, say goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Nick, say goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you very much, everyone. NichBoy out.